Conservatives who are rationalizing this emergency sort of expansion of power of the Article 2 branch better be ready when the next Democrat comes in, because there's going to be an emergency.
Lots of them.
And they're going to say, look at all this stuff that was never challenged in the courts as a reason for doing it. We are empowering the Article 2 branch like we never have before, at least in modern history. So
back to Brazil. You're going to make a point.
But then back to Brazil. Okay, look at this. Now let's say, by God, it is time to impose tariffs on all these countries that we've got a trade deficit with, right? 100%. Now, we find out that there's a judicial process in a sovereign country about a transition of power, and that becomes a basis for imposing a 50% tariff on a country that we have a trade surplus in Brazil. How does that make sense? And the reason I worry about that, even if you could argue that maybe in that particular case, number one, you put Brazil in an untenable position, right? If you reverse the courts, you've sent to the world that you don't have a rule of law, which makes you an unhospitable place for businesses to grow. And if you don't do it, then you got to deal with the impact of a 50% tariff, which I believe that they're going to do, because Brazil, I met with about 5 or 6 senators from Brazil the week before I left D.C. I met one who's a part of the opposition party, who is a friend of the president in question, the former president.
Bolsonaro.
And he said, we've got to let the legal process work, but this is devastating to our relationship. It will be devastating to our economy.
Send a signal all throughout South America and Central America.
Well, I could worry about that, but here's what I really worry about as a former advisor to Fortune 500 companies. We're about to make a big capital expenditure decision, Tom. What do you think about us moving forward? I said, no damn way. I don't have any earthly idea. If we're talking about something that has supply chains, global supply chains, I have no earthly idea what trade's going to look like. Because just when we think things are settled down, or we've got a formula going after nations that have a trade deficit, now we're imposing 50% tariffs on a nation that we've had a relationship with for 200 years that has a trade surplus. So as a business advisor, I go, there's no certainty here. And in the face of uncertainty, you don't make business bets.